Welcome, everyone. It's Rhonda Allen here. Tonight, Star has the night off, but we are going on with the show. And I wanted to introduce you to our special guest, Kristine Gorman.
It's a magical, witchy world. It's a magical, witchy world.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, Kristine. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Abs- Absolutely. Um, what we typically do at the beginning of every show is we introduce you to everyone first by going through your bio. So I'd like to read through your bio first. Yes. So Kristine Gorman, Creatrix of Visionary Woman Tarot, published by Red Wheel Wiser in 2025, is Visionary Women Tarot was a gold medal winner for celebrating diversity and a silver medal winner for guidebook. Curator and illustrator of Fine Young Unicorns Queer AF Tarot deck to be released in 2027, with the book written by Melissa. I keep saying Chinova. It's Cernova, right? Also by
Nova.
Weiser. Yeah. Kristine is an overall badass, longtime tarot reader, usually in overalls. She is a wrangler of tarot meetups in her local area and presenter at large for conferences everywhere, focusing not only on tarot but on creativity and intuition. Kristine is a fine artist known for her large-scale oil paintings. Oils are her preferred medium in most of her work and published tarot decks. And Kristine thrives in the adorable Lambertville, New Jersey area where she reads for private clients, paints, and writes, preparing for new top secret projects soon to be announced. And yes, usually in overalls. So you can find Kristine on Instagram at Visionary Woman Tarot, and we will be scrolling that through tonight's show. But thank you so much again for joining us. So, as a way of introducing you to our community, to everyone watching live or on playback, we want to get an idea of your journey. So, would you identify who you are, what you do, and let's look at the trajectory, like when you first started on your journey as artist, as on your journey as visionary woman. What did you originally see yourself or identify yourself as? And how do you see yourself today? Has there been a change, or what would you call yourself as?
Well, I definitely have received a PhD in dysfunction. And I have been completely pummeled, right? And the funny thing about that is the blossoming that happens
Mm,
when you develop the gifts you were born with.
yes.
And
Mm,
tarot, for me, was a structure. I didn't have a structure. So
interesting.
I was very abstract, right? And so tarot gave me this structure that was unique. And then to be able to combine, I've always painted, I've always been an artist, I've always said things out of my mouth that people were oh my God, what did she say? Disruptive to the very least,
Right.
at the very least. So when I felt that I needed to combine
Mm,
them only after I accrued the wisdom that I have. It's like,
beautiful.
oh yeah, I could paint, I can do this, I can do this, I can do a theme deck on this, I could do that. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I really felt like I could contribute with what I have learned
Yes.
that it all came
Yeah.
together.
Right on. Right on. So when you think of because I see you, and I'm just telling you how someone on the outside sees you. I see you, and you call yourself this visionary woman. I can see that when I see you. So I'm wondering, when you were first coming to your artwork, what was it that what was it within you that said, this is something I need to be doing?
Oh, well, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, it just comes out of you, right? You're called to do it. And
Mm.
you know, in school structures, there's a formula to create things, and you know, structures to learn.
Yes.
And it was not easy for me to follow anybody else's structure.
Mm. Mhm.
So I had to, you know, raw learn everything on my own in my own
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to it, you know, with scraped knees and you know, like the scars to prove, and to fight
Mhm.
for, um to be here,
Yes.
you know. So now I feel completely blessed, and I have these gems, you
Yes.
know, and this is what I'm sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about the work that you've done over the years and as you began your work, tell us a bit about how that crossover, what was it that was the crossover that drew you to tarot as a tool, as a medium? I mean, we understand the artwork, but what was it about divination or that?
It's so funny that you asked that, because again, I have always seen things and I've always said things.
Mm,
And feeling other, um, you just kind of think that you're messed up, or why
right.
would that even happen? And it was my husband that gave
Wow.
me, he just was like, why don't you try this? Like just
Yes.
like he was like, oh my God, do something with that, you know, like he
Yeah.
saw it, but I didn't know that I didn't know it was a gift. I didn't know that it
Mm,
was a muscle that I could work. I didn't know that it was
yeah.
something that was my voice. So
Yes.
that whether it's my paintbrush or my cards or the way that I read, my sunroof goes open, and you know, who needs cards, you know? So it's like,
Right. Right.
but to almost be able to communicate with other people, it
Mhm,
had to
mhm.
slow me down. It had to be in
Mm,
order. It had to make sense. And so, you know, when you hear things and it's in the proper order at the right time.
yes.
And so that it helps me kind of say those right things.
That is a I love how you define that and how
Yeah. I
you
mean,
express.
it hits me like a lightning bolt. So how can I make it palatable for others so that they can benefit from that message that I'm giving?
Right. That is such a key piece, and I know that, for many readers, that becomes a challenge, which is, how do I translate what I am sensing, picking up, interpreting in the cards, because it does come through often as a rush or a torrent, or you've got these messages, and how do I now translate that into something that makes sense for my client?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting that's a really interesting issue that readers have. But I appreciate that it became a tool for you. It became a
Yeah.
way for you to slow down and order things.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you fit, and this is going, now we're crossing into the two worlds, because I don't want to say you straddle two worlds, but as an artist, a fine artist, yes, working on large paintings, doing large pieces like that, I see that as also part of, well, clearly it's still communicating. You're still obviously communicating
Yeah.
through your art, through that type of artwork. Um, but how do you see that? Is there a sense of, and I'm going to use this word because it's Magickal Witchy World TV. So do you see the, what is the, how would you define the magic in your painting when you're working with a brush, and how is it similar to the work you do as a reader when you're getting those messages?
Well, I think that I had a client once say, you know, Christine, you see underneath the cards.
Mm,
I say, yeah, yeah, that's good. Can I use that? I said, you know.
right, exactly.
And so I feel that when it comes to my artwork, no matter what it is, it people can see underneath it, and people
Mm,
see what they need to see. And so
yes.
many people can have a
Mm,
vibration of I am met well. I am in alignment with that, but they might
Mhm.
explain it in a completely different way. And
Right.
so that's where, my photo reel work or my stylized work, like my tarot deck or my complete abstract work, it gives people the feeling that they get when I have a reading or when they have a
Mhm.
reading with me, right? So they
Interesting.
they want
Yeah.
to keep that. They want to have it in their house. They want to it symbolizes things that I've told them.
Yes.
It invokes an empowerment because nobody's heavier when they get away from the table after a reading. They're
Right. Right.
they're they're the knots are untied, they're exposed, they feel
Yeah.
lighter and it feels
Yeah.
good. And so it is a vibration, but it is also just from the source.
Mhm.
So it's all from the
Mhm.
same places. And when it came to, I need to make 78 images
Yes.
expressing how I feel and my experience and my knowledge
Mm.
and my wisdom,
Yeah.
creating a world like that, that was my own experiment in structure, which
That's
I already told you I don't have, right? So it's
yes,
like, so,
exactly.
so it was like my own personal evolution to be able to express, hey, I'm a longtime reader. Hey, I
Right.
I know stuff. It's not just it's deep.
Yes. I
So
love hearing that. And for many reasons. I mean, we're living in a world where things are rapidly changing. And I'm just going to say what we all know is that there are things that are not human design but artificial
sure.
design that are out. And what you're speaking about and that experience and you coming to understand, you know, this the exercise of doing 78 paintings to create your deck and having to be in touch with those energies, what it means to you, so you can express it so that others can now relate to it and do their
Yeah.
own readings with your cards. That to me is an element that I don't know how we're going to. I think there's a distinct difference where you
Well,
can
it's
recognize
soulful.
what's.
It's
Mm,
and it's personal.
there we go.
And
That's it.
that is how I roll.
Yeah.
And I you can smell it when it's not.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't respond really well to I don't my cells don't respond to something that is half-hearted
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
or superficial.
Excellent point. And I think that that brings us to this question of in your own personal experience, not necessarily the work that you're creating for your clients. And I know that art is an extension of self anyway,
Mhm.
but how do you incorporate this in your own personal, let's say, whether it's the artwork that you create? Do you let me ask the question this way: do you create artwork specifically for your own healing, for your own self?
I think that just like any other illustrator, like Pamela Coleman Smith, Lady Frida Harris,
Hmm.
they have these emotions, when they're going through certain cards. And
Yes.
they're like, well, yeah, of course, it's like, full moon in Cancer, you're gonna grab your
Right.
tissues, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's just
Exactly.
what's happening.
Yes.
But it is also, I just it just I'm a conduit.
Mm. Mhm, mhm.
So this has a mind of its own. It already knows. It's like it's my own personal AI. It's like this is just coming
Right.
through, and I'm like just
I'm
I
here
I am
to.
making it palatable in a different way too, because yes, they're oils.
Yeah.
Visionary Woman Tarot is oils on wood. So it's this, there's something there. You can sometimes see the wood,
Yes. Yes.
but I also not just the artist. I'm not just the author. I'm also a longtime reader.
Right. Right.
So, it's like this little pocket that I'm in overalls.
In overalls. But
Yeah.
and the thing that I'm looking to understand is when you think about the magic, because you're create when you as an artist and you design this deck and um you brought this out and shared it with the world for other readers like myself, we can grab this and work with it. What do you create for yourself though? Do you create anything for yourself? Like,
Well, okay, so for I would have a struggle or a dilemma,
mhm,
and I'll be
mhm.
like, "Ugh, I have no idea what to do." And my friend would be like, "Gee, too bad you don't have a pack of cards that you can't just throw and answer your own question." I'm like, "Oh, that's right, that's right,
Right,
I can do
yes.
that." So when I am in a lesson experience,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have to create a spread for myself. So when I read for clients, I
Mm,
don't have a spread at all.
right.
But when I need to answer my own questions, I can't be floating around in the atmosphere. Like I need to be like, I'm not wasting my own time. Like
Yes.
what do I need to know? So I have to get very specific. So I write a complete spread.
I
So it
love
turns
that.
out that the spreads are going to be a workbook published not next year, but then, and then the year after that. So it's like my own healing is my own
Yes.
paper trail of how
Yeah.
people can help themselves.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like sometimes I might stumble onto it, but then I understand what the source of it is.
Yes, yes.
So there's a handful of
Right.
ways that people, in my opinion, make their choices. They're making their
Mhm,
choices out of their wound. They're making their choices
mhm.
out of their learning. They're making choices out of their knowing. Oh my goodness, we really all kind of want to be making our choices out
Choices.
of our knowing.
No,
But
right.
there's also receiving and leaving.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's like to be able to have a minute, a second or three of perspective when something is happening.
Yes.
That's really what we're going for, right? It's like, let
Right.
me see clearly about what's happening. So I think that I throw myself into my work because my
Mhm.
art and my work is my life. And there's
That
no
is
separation.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, and I was feeling that, and I was thinking there is no, this is who you are. As I said,
Yeah.
I see visionary woman. That's so well, that fits you, and I could see that with you in particular.
Well, you
So
know how
I
I got that title, right?
tell us the story.
The big man.
See? Okay. Well,
Shotzi Gorman.
yes.
He just saw me, I was just the shop girl, you know.
Wow.
And he was like, "No, I see something
No.
there." I was like, "Is there a clock above my head?" What's going on? Yeah.
And there it is. And full disclosure, I met Shotzi because his shop was 10 minutes down the road from where I used to work, and he did my large back piece, which I am forever grateful to have. So yeah, I am, you know, yes, beloved man, your
Yes,
man,
yes,
beloved
yes.
man. Yeah,
Thank you.
right on, right on. I see a fur baby in the background. Just
There's a couple,
uh,
and yeah.
they're here with us. So when you let's take this a little bit further out now. Let's broaden this. We're talking about your deck, we're talking about your work. Tell us about community and you.
Ah, okay. So I've only lived here maybe about 5 years.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
immediately I showed up and I started to cultivate these little meetups at places.
mhm.
And I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and
Beautiful.
so it's like, I'm a mortgage person, I'm in real estate. I was like, I'm a,
Yeah, guess what I do?
and I also found the right spot.
Yes.
I've been so embraced here, and it's great. But at the same time, and Barnes and Noble carries my book, so it's in Doylestown, PA. I
Huh,
I do a little gathering at Barnes and Noble,
yes.
and it's funny how the different venues will change who walks in. People feel like, oh, if it's at Barnes and Noble, then it's gonna be safe,
Yes.
and
And
so anybody comes, and these are people that have never picked up a tarot deck before, let alone do they even want to do a spread. They're just so curious they can't even
yes.
stand themselves. And so I said, okay, these folks were just not ready for a spread. And I said, well, I have this spread here. Let's throw some cards. Let's choose a movie or a
Yes.
story that we can throw cards on to
Yes.
help you understand what happens here. And so this 15-year-old young lady was like, what about Romeo and Juliet? And
Wow.
I said,
Okay. Well,
perfect.
there's an
Okay,
old
so let's
story.
do that. First two cards, a sword and a cup. I was like,
Wow.
okay, well, here we go. And so it was so illuminating.
That
And
is
people were like,
amazing.
what? I said, yeah,
Yeah.
this is explaining they can't trust anybody with money. They can't trust, they gotta get creative with things. And,
Yes.
and so it was really fascinating. And then the meetups that people a little bit more experienced, then I create a worksheet and we do a spread together, or they read each other. It depends on how many people show up.
Beautiful.
There could be 3, there could be 25.
Yes, yes.
And so I feel like it's so important
Mhm,
to
mhm.
have a social place where people can go. That's not a bar.
Well said. Yes,
They want to learn about themselves. They want to have a
absolutely.
moment in time to say, hey, I need a timeout. I need a replenishment. I want to heal or meet people. And so it's lovely
Absolutely.
to be a focus of people saying, I want to do something for myself.
And the fact that you're creating that environment is already, I mean, that to me is the sharing, the developing, the building the bonds, the building that sense of community. I
And I'm
mean,
not doing a tarot 101. That's not my skill, right?
mhm,
Like, you're
mhm,
really
mhm.
good at that. That's not my skill, but I'm gonna like bonk them in the head, whether it's a tarot reading. I end up reading the room anyway, right? So this
Right.
is kind of what happens. And I kind of just push the box open.
Yeah, yeah.
This should mean this. Well, today maybe.
Today, maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's fabulous. And I just want to make sure I'm going through some of my questions here off to the side. Tell me what your thoughts are, or if you have thoughts on this question about the modern. I mean, we're talking cards, we're talking tarot a lot tonight because, I mean, hey, you're an artist,
Sure.
but you're a creator
Mm.
and reader. Tell me what your thoughts are about that community as you see it today, and
The
where you
community.
think it's going, the tarot community or
Well,
the
I think it's fascinating. When I started learning tarot, there was a structure that, this is the shoulders you stand on. This is
yeah.
what, it's usually some old white guy from the 1800s that's saying something.
Right.
And then we're kind of done listening to them besides planetary stuff, right? So it's like,
Right, right.
okay. So it's like, let's put that over here. But I also think that um it's the person, everything's personal connection is where it's at. And I feel that
Mhm.
there's a real richness when people gather um in smaller groups. Sometimes it's like, if you
Yeah.
hear somebody special and you're in a big room, that's wonderful. It's still great.
Yeah.
But I also feel that, like, again, when we're just beginning, this is how we learn. And you had to kind of really learn the Rider Waite Smith,
Yes.
or Crowley, and that's what you had to do, and then you could leap off.
Mhm.
People today, they don't even, they're not even aware of that. They just want to pick up a
Right.
tarot deck and read.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
It's
on
just
one hand, it's like, well, you got to know the shoulders you stand on, but
mhm,
at the
mhm.
same time, that's great. They're wanting
Right.
to find answers for themselves,
Yes.
and that should never be deterred. And so
Well
it's just
said.
like somebody whose artwork you're not crazy about, but they
Mhm.
paint every day,
Right.
and they are at it every day, and it's like, respect,
That's
you
it.
know.
Respect.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I have a lot of opinions. About
You
about
know?
everything, but the tarot community today, I feel like the ones I gravitate to are the most generous with what
Mhm.
they know and what they have. Bennabelle Wen,
Oh my
you
god,
know, I
yes.
mean, she has so much, and she gets such a ration of shit. Holy cow, just
Um,
for being her,
yes.
it is like, it's amazing. She offers so much,
So much.
so much. So, you want to know something, she's probably got a YouTube video on it, like, oh my God. But she's also a
Mhm.
wonderful person. And yes, she wrote the
Yes.
forward to Visionary Woman Tarot, but she kind of like made me, she was like, I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. She's amazing. So it's the ones that Sasha Graham,
Mhm.
so generous with what she knows.
Oh
She's
my
gonna
god.
show up and she's gonna just say, this is the people that know you can't take somebody else's magic.
Right.
Nobody's going to do it like you. So
Right.
just be generous with, and, with what you know. And at the same time, I love the passion of folks that are just getting into it.
Yeah.
But just don't start this conversation with saying you invented anything.
Thank
Just
you.
don't, because I'm just gonna close, my
Well,
ears are gonna go. I won't,
I don't.
I just can't even help it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your point about we did, and this is true for many of the, and I'm old school girl here too. I mean, I had to learn the traditional way, and I do value what I've learned, and
Yeah.
and all of that. And I'm excited, though, as you said, about the fact that people are picking up the deck. They're curious about the cards, what they can say. You're doing classes at Barnes and Nobles, and people who have no clue about the card, but
Yeah.
they're getting in. You're engaging them.
They
That for
they
me is
wanted
like,
yeah, they wanted to ask a question like, is this dark? They're coming
mhm,
from churchy backgrounds.
mhm,
They don't want to misstep, and
right,
they're afraid. And so I kind of squash that fear as best I can, you
fabulous,
know. And so,
fabulous.
with all respect, it's like I feel that alignment
Mhm.
is everything.
Right, right.
Like we
Yes,
want to believe in divine timing and like say we believe in it, but the practical application of believing in divine timing
and
is really different.
very different. But,
Yeah.
and hopefully over time we get to really kind of, oh, there is timing here, and it is divine, and it is divine. What projects, and you hinted at, or you did actually share, but
Yeah.
let's go in depth.
Oh
What
my goodness. Okay.
projects do you have coming up that you
So,
can share at this point?
Fine Young Unicorns, okay, is all to support queer youth. And so
Fabulous.
these are portraits, oil painted portraits of very well known queer tarot folks in our
Yes.
community, but pictures when they were young.
Oh my gosh, I love
Local
that.
people that I know and love, that when they were young, and
Yes,
actual queer youth. so
I
so
love
it's
that.
very exciting. A lot of people that people will be familiar with. Melissa
Yes,
Snova is writing the book, and she is amaze balls.
yes.
And so this thing is not only so fun that should come out in April.
It will come out
Um,
in April of 27.
yeah. And
Excellent.
the fun fact about that is I am auctioning off all the original oil paintings, and
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
donating the proceeds to the Trevor Project, New Hope Celebrates, and the Rainbow Room, which is a queer
What?
hub in Doylestown, PA. And it's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, goosebumps
So,
all day long.
exactly. I'm certain there'll be lots more information about that coming up. So people
Yes.
will be able to obviously follow you on Instagram so they can get that information, because those are incredible. I mean, just the fact that you're donating the proceeds from the sales of the original paintings, but the deck itself, I mean,
I'm
both
telling you,
fabulous.
they were crying. They were so moved to be a part of
Wow.
it. It's this, everything I do is goosebumps,
That is beautiful. I
Yeah.
have to share last night, today's Friday. Yes, last night in my little meetup group, we were having some conversation on some recent conversations in the tarot community, and just somebody had made mention about the decks in the last, I'm going to say, 20 years or so, and that
Sure.
there is much more diversity in decks, and so we're
Yeah.
seeing same couples, we're seeing uh you know
Yeah.
BIPOC folk in decks, etc. um that was really, and that was a really great conversation that we were having, and I just mentioned, and I said it in a, not to go into all the weeds about it, but I did mention, I said it's really important for people to see themselves represented.
Oh,
And I don't,
absolutely.
for some folk, it may not hit them, because she was like, I just wanted to understand the cards. I wasn't really looking at the people or what they look like or whatever. I just was trying to understand the card itself. That was her focus. it wasn't until the conversation came up where she was like, oh, yeah, they are primarily cisgendered couples and decks and the older versions, etc.
Yeah, tarot's so white. We talk
Yeah,
about it all the time.
all
Yeah.
right. So,
Yeah.
so here's the thing, and I didn't go into the weeds, but I'm going to share it now. I remember, because I'm the old broad here. I remember watching television as a little kid. So I'm like
Yeah.
maybe kindergarten, and not seeing people who look like me.
Yeah.
And thinking to myself, oh, people who look like me don't belong on television.
Yep. Yep.
And so I remember feeling some kind of way, like, oh, I'm a little less than. I remember feeling that. And
Yeah.
and this I was maybe 6, 5 or
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
years
But
old. I
it,
was
it
really
doesn't
young.
matter. It's like I'm not invited. I
Right.
didn't I
I'm
didn't
not
get the
invited.
memo.
Exactly. And so it's really and I know it does take, sometimes it's not purposeful, but you just don't recognize that, oh,
You
those
just don't
folks.
know till you know. And if you're
Right.
not, if you're coming from this white cisgender world,
You don't
and
know till
it's
you
really
know.
like that, how would you. And
Right.
so, it is sometimes a light bulb on top of their head. And
Yeah.
I honestly feel like late is kind of strange, but okay, you're here.
Yeah, you're here. You're
Like you're
here.
here.
We're
That's good.
grateful. We're
Yeah.
grateful. And so
Ideally, that would be kind of a no-brainer, but you know what? You're here.
you're here. And that's right. But the deck that you're creating with Melissa,
Yeah.
that to me is like, holy crap. They get to see themselves
Yeah.
represented.
Oh, yeah. And it is
And
fine young unicorns. And
that's
it all
aw-
started with a Facebook post.
wow.
And she posted a picture of her kid, I think. And I said, oh my God, this is the perfect whatever card it was. We
Yes.
should get together and make a deck, make it all
Uh,
to support queer youth. And it's called
yes.
Fine Young Unicorns. And she said, okay. And that was it.
They off and running. That's how again, ease and flow. The things you were
Yes.
talking about before the show started. Make it if it's meant
Yeah.
to be, it's gonna be. Yes, I love that. So that's one of your major projects coming up, and you did
Yeah.
kind
And
of
then I have
hint
a
at another
workbook
project.
coming out.
Yes. Tell us more about the workbook.
Oh my
Tell us
God.
more about the
I've written a
workbook.
rhyming, I've written a poem for each card. Each
What?
card. So this workbook is a divination tool all by itself. All you need is
Love.
one card.
Oh my
And then
God.
this one, picking one card takes you onto this whole path of tasks and lessons and the thing that you might be called to work on at the moment.
Love
And
this.
there's a tarot spread with each card, and so you just pick one card and you are off to the races.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
What the face of tarot today, the face of
Yeah.
tarot in the 21st century is vibrant. It's alive. It's active, it's innovating, it's doing all the things. It's doing
Yeah.
many things. And then you have all the academic, and you have the studious, and you have all of the history, and you have all
Yeah.
the research, which I love that they're coming together.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
love
need
that they're
somebody to
coming
make
together
that
and
palatable for
accessible.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to go hear people that are going to be specific on a
Mhm.
subject. Why is there a snail in the nine of coins? Like,
Oh,
that kind of thing. So it's like,
yes.
but somebody needs to make that palatable for me, because I'm
Yeah.
just not going to be able. I'm not interested to pick up a book and look at it. Now I did traditional
Right.
study, even though it was
Yeah.
hard,
Yes. Yes.
and that's why Rachel Pollack is the world card in my deck,
Oh,
because I was at her house and she pulled a card and I gave a very textbook answer to it. And she said, yeah, well, what do you see in the card? And my
yes.
mind just exploded. And I was like, I
Yes.
can do this however the fuck I want. Like, what?
Yes.
And so that's why I call her my tarot midwife, because she was there and she showed up for me. And so now
Yes.
I'm just giving back.
Love
Yeah.
that. And that is the release of it all. That is so absolutely positively the release of it all.
Mhm.
we can talk on and on and on about the cards. And
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest messages I reinforce in my own classes is reminding my students, hey, there is a traditionally, air quotes,
Yeah,
traditionally accepted interpretation for every one of the 78 cards. That's
sure.
one thing. But you are delivering something only you can deliver, and it is
Yes.
of equal
Georgia O'Keeffe
value
said,
and
yes.
equal weight.
Georgia O'Keeffe said, I had many teachers to teach me how to paint like them, but nobody could teach me how to paint like me.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So true. So true. So tell us, are you doing any events this year? Do you have anything on the agenda, things that are coming up?
I am going to the UK Tarot Conference in London in
Yes.
October.
Yes. Tell us
Yes.
more.
Oh my goodness. So I'm not exactly presenting. I'm gonna go
But you'll be
enjoy
there
Carrie
with you.
Paris
Oh
and
my
yeah,
God.
and Sasha Graham.
Yes.
And there's so many amazing people speaking.
Love
But at
them.
the same time, they're so excited. They were like, we're gonna set up a table so you can sign decks. Like they're just
Yeah.
happy to have me there. So
That's
they've been
fabulous.
really wonderful and I can't wait.
I am so excited for you. That's
Yeah,
going to be a
thanks.
fabulous event in community with
Yeah, yeah. And
people
now
who,
yeah, it's heavy academic. So
yes,
I love this. I want to be able to learn what I'm not naturally drawn to go learn. And it's
understood.
like this is the wonderful part about being able to just be a sponge
Yes.
with, people that know stuff. Like I want to
Yes.
know what they're knowing. I
Oh my
want to know
God.
that,
Totally.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
Absolutely. I was speaking with somebody earlier today and she also teaches and I said, I'm going to come and be
Yeah.
like this because I love her work. I love how she teaches and she's very in the weeds and I love digging in the weeds. That's like my
Yeah.
happy place. So I hear what you're saying. Being in the right environment
Yeah.
so that you can, like you say, just absorb, what is it that they know about this? I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. So you have that coming up. We have things to look forward to next year
Mhm.
and the year after. I'm thinking with the workbook, is that right? So we have
Yeah.
things to
Yeah.
look forward to. Kristine, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be with us tonight.
It
Thank
was
you.
wonderful to be
Thank
here.
you. It was a pleasure. It was a joy to have you here. We've been strolling your Instagram on our screen tonight. I want everyone to go ahead and follow you. That is
Thank you.
important, and that way they can find out more about when the deck comes out and the art
Yes.
sale. The art
Yes.
sales important. Thank you so much, Kristine.
You're
And
welcome.
now I want to share a little bit about some of the other shows here on Magickal Witchy World TV. Well, I'm back, and it's time for us to go through some astrology. And where we left off last time was wrapping up July, and we're going to start our August astrology. So we're beginning August 2026, our eclipse season, and lots of Leo energy. 2026 has yet to serve us a truly uneventful month, and may have been its best attempt. August is here and is ready to put on a show. It's not enough that the Sun, South Node, and over the top Jupiter are all in showy Leo. We're heading into eclipse season with a double header of these scene stealing events on August 12th and the 28th. Eclipses sweep in with big changes and dramatic headlines, and they turn the tides of how we do things on this planet. So, as above, so below, we know this. We stargazers all know this. On August 12th, a total solar eclipse lands in Leo with its 190-mile wide path of totality tracing through mainland Spain for the first time since 1905. The synchronicity is hard to ignore. Leo loves the spotlight, and Spain has been on center stage this summer, especially since Jupiter entered Leo on June 30th and the South Node joined on July 26th. That World Cup synchronicity and the barbalt basket. So we just wrapped that barbalt basket up, but let's go back and do a little review. It started on July 19th when the national soccer team beat Argentina 1-0 or 1-0 in extra time to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup, its second title in history, and ended Lionel Messi's tournament in the process. Messi, a June 24 Cancer, had Jupiter in his sign and on his side until the end of June. But Leo rules recognition, performance, and the moments when effort finally gets seen, making Spain's World Cup victory feel destined, especially as it aligned with the rare barbalt basket configuration in the cosmos. Many astrologers believe eclipse season or eclipse energy makes itself known up to a month before the cosmic event. Indeed, the World Cup semifinals began on July 14th, almost exactly a month before the August 12th eclipse that will cross Spain. One devastatingly literal parallel is with the record breaking summer heat and wildfires. Leo is a fire sign. And if y'all have been paying attention to the news, you've seen what's been going on in Spain, in Europe with fires. But with this fire sign and with the sun, the shadowy South Node, and expansive Jupiter all in Leo, record wildfires are raging in Canada, Europe, and the Pacific Northwest. The eclipse's visibility area, which is between Barcelona and Madrid, could be blocked by smoke and unsafe air quality. So they'll be dealing with those literal hazards. 2026 is proving itself as a fire year, with all the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, now in fire and air signs. These two elements of nature need our protection more than ever. We are also in a fire year according to the lunar solar calendar used in Chinese astrology and by many other cultures around the world. That's why 2026 is the year of the fire horse. Despite its alluring name, fire horse years can bring political turmoil and chaos among leadership and alliances. So millions are set to gather in northern Spain on August 12th for the eclipse and Perseid meteor shower, and those plans hang in the balance. We're sending our prayers that the fires and tragic losses of people's property, livelihoods, and cherished memories are contained. Already 90,000 residents and tourists in Spain have had to evacuate and seek shelter from the blazes, and the losses linked to climate crisis, record high temperatures, trapped heat, and drought from fossil fuel emission will become impossible to deny now that wounded healer Chiron is in Earth sign Taurus until 2034. Chiron arrived in Taurus on June 19th, its first time here since 1984. On August 3rd, it will turn retrograde, backing into Aries on September 17th until it settles into Taurus for 7 years next April. Finally, August 2026 closes with a healing eclipse and goal-crushing trine. The month will end with a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th, a full moon that will take on more of a healing inward journey. We could probably use one after all that we've been through in the early part of this year. Then on August 31st, expansive Jupiter and structured Saturn unite in a rare, harmonious 120-degree trine. Our big goals and dreams could get some tangible support as Saturn provides the needed scaffolding to build Jupiter's blue sky ideas into something real. Perhaps we'll also see some real leadership, because Saturn, which is Saturn's domain, step forward to inspire us, and that's the realm of Jupiter. It's the first of two. The next will be on April 3rd, 2027. Consider this a preview of what you can build once the eclipse dust settles. So, some key dates that we need to look at in August. August 3rd, Chiron retrograde in Taurus. So that wounded healer Chiron begins its annual retrograde, backing up through security seeking Taurus until September 17th, then continuing its reverse journey through Aries until January 6th of 2027. On August 6th, we have Venus in Libra. So Venus, the planet of beauty, pleasure, and romance, waltzes home to her native sign of Libra until September 10th. On August 8th, the Lion's Gate, 8-8, the Lionsgate portal opens every year between July 28th and August 12th, with its official activation day being August 8th. Its opening is a time of heightened intuition during which you can gain clarity on your goals and your intentions. On August 9th, Mercury will be in Leo. So grab the mic and reclaim your roar, your voice, with expressive Mercury sashaying into spotlight stealing Leo. For until August 25th, the whole world becomes your stage. On August 11th, Mars will enter Cancer. Home sweet haven, as fiery Mars sets up camp in Cancer until September 27th. The action shifts squarely to your nest, to the home area. Then on August 12th, we have the new moon in Leo. Lights, camera, eclipse. This Leo new moon is no ordinary lunation. It's a total solar eclipse, the first in this sign since 2019, and it's handing you a megawatt passion reboot. August 22nd, we'll have Sun in Virgo. After an indulgent month, it's time to simplify. The Sun shifts into devotional Virgo, bringing you back to earthy, easy pleasures until September 22nd. August 25th, we have Mercury in Virgo, just in time for back to school season. Mindful Mercury returns to one of its home signs, detail loving Virgo, until September 10th. August 28th, we have the full moon in Pisces. Logic won't cut it under this lunar eclipse in esoteric Pisces. With the veil between worlds thinner than gossamer, you may glimpse the source code behind life itself. Get ready for a day of uncanny synchronicities and miracles big and small. Then August 31st, Jupiter Saturn trine. Skip the shortcuts, refine your process, and let yourself play the long game. This is the first of two supportive Jupiter Saturn trines. Round 2 lands April 3rd, 2027. Build now, dazzle later, and your vision will stand the test of time. So next Friday, when we're back, we will go through and talk about August for each of the signs. Well, at least we'll start. Right now, though, of course, we have to pull a card. So now that we have just come off of, we've just wrapped up our barbalt belt. We've just wrapped up our full moon. And now we are heading into, for some who celebrate Lammas or Lunasa, this is our first harvest of the year starting. But now is a great time to look at what you have grown. We start to, and of course, we hope that we've all planted seeds, and we've all got fruit that we can start to harvest. But let's start looking at and pull a card to see what are some of the outputs. What are some of the things that we've grown this year that we can start looking at and saying, these are the fruits of my labors? So let's pull a card to look at what are some of the fruits of my labors this year. And what I have is the Chariot. The Chariot, which is a really interesting card looking at what are some of the fruits of my own labors this year. Because this card for me always speaks about the journey ahead. So when I see this and I say, what have I planted and what are some of the fruits, what are some of the rewards, if you will? What are some of the things I can harvest at this early stage of the harvest season? The Chariot speaks to me about the opportunity that I've built enough of the background, enough of the foundation needed to journey forward, to move forward, to go into realms that I may not know very well, because for the charioteer, they are venturing into unknown terrain. So I look at this and I say, what are some of the fruits I can harvest at this time? It is knowing that I can harvest the opportunities that lie ahead because I've built enough of a foundation to work off of. And if you have your cards handy or watching on playback, draw a card, see what it tells you. Awesome. So we missed Star this week, but she'll be back next week. And we want to thank everyone for joining us, and especially a huge thank you to Kristine Gorman for joining us tonight. I, of course, am like beside myself because I love talking cards. Tarot is my passion, but she's an artist, and I love speaking to artists about their work and what brings them to their work. Really looking forward to her deck. We will have our next guest coming up. So next Friday, please join us again. We'd love to have you back. And in the meantime, please do like and subscribe and share us with your friends. We'd love to have you join us here on Magickal Witchy World TV. Have a great week, everyone.